Darkness reigns again. With my Nillious, I can win all battles.
Aloha Cousins Briar 626 here, and today we have our next deck profile here of one of my favorite decks so far, and that is the Nillious deck here. Now this is a mono Darkus Nillious deck. Of course that's going to be because we have the Darkus Nillious Ultra, the Darkus Nillious, and the Aurleus Nillious. And of course these worked out really well. If you want to see a battle with them against the Dragonoid deck that we did a previous deck profile of, go ahead and click that card right up there so you guys can see that video there, because this deck, it's really good. I like this. Of course, we're still missing a couple cards here, and I'll tell you what cards that we are missing and which ones I'm going to replace with that card that I'm missing. So I'm only missing like 2 cards. So you know, hey, we're going to get it to work out though. But we're going ahead, we're going to be looking at, of course, we have Darkus Nillious Ultra here. 200 B power, 6 damage, 2 shields, of course, you have to use. When he lands on the shield, he gets plus 400 B power. Of course, we're running the 2 300 plus shields. So he's basically, if you land on it, he is going to be at 900 B power and 6 damage. So not a bad start there. At least if you can hit a core first, hit one of these, and you can get at least 6 damage in, which is really good. Then we have the Darkus Nillious here, just a core version. He has a green fist and a helix, 500 B power and 2 damage. A little low on the damage, but his B power is really good. But the cores we're using is the green fist is plus 150 B power, 2 damage, and the helix is 300 plus 3 damage. So it's a pretty good boost onto him as well. Then we run the Nillious Aurleus faction here, the core version. He has a orange shield and a green fist, 505 damage. So he can get some, he's a pretty good Bakugan to kind of start off with. Of course, the shield we're using is the minus 300 orange shield, and then we use the plus 150 B power plus 2 damage there. Now, there's a reason why we're running this. And I'll get into the reason why I'm running the minus 300 B power when I get to the card there. So yeah, so those are the Bakugan and the cores. We're going to go ahead and move those out of the way here. But first, let's go ahead and start off with our Evo cards here. Of course, Nillious Ultra doesn't have any Evo cards yet, but once he does, you count on it. I'll be running them in the deck. So our first one we have is Hyper Nillious here. For 3 energies, he is at 800 B power, 3 damage. And Victor, you may discard a card to plus 2 damage, and you may use this as many times as you want during that turn. So you can keep discarding cards that you don't need, and basically add more damage to him if you want to. It's up to you. You're going to be doing some pretty good damage either way. So yeah, so it's a good bonus onto him as well. And of course, our next one we have is Titan Nillious. Similar to Hyper Nillious, but for 6 energies, 1300 B power, 4 damage. So he's only getting a little bit more of a damage boost. But his Victor is when you may discard a card to plus 4 damage, and you may use this any number of times. So you can discard as many cards as you want as long as you win the battle, and you'll be getting plus 4 damage onto it as well. So which is really good there. Now, of course, I'm going to be switching the Titan Nillious for another Hyper Nillious, because I don't really want to use these 6 energies. I don't really get a lot of 6 energies out quick enough to use Titan Nillious. I mean, he only pretty much becomes a discard card or a energy card as well. So for right now, I'm going to be keeping him there until I get a Hyper Nillious. So yeah, so we'll be doing that. Then we have 2 Hyper Nillious in the Aurleus faction here. For 3 energies, 800 B power, and then 8 damage. So that's got him a good little boost there. And then if you discard this card, you may play it for free. Now you're pretty much discarding cards like crazy in this deck. So discarding a card, you basically discard this, you play it for free. You don't have to use 3 energies, play it for free. Just play it for free. Yeah, so I mean, you can discard off a Hyper Nillious, Titan Nillious here, the Evos, discard that, play it, boom, play it for free there. And you can get if you have a team attack ready, discard, play for free, boom, done. You are doing some damage onto that. It's oof. He's good. So yeah, so those are the Evo cards, of course, we're using. So we're going to go ahead and get those out of the way here. Move those to the side. Now, of course, we have our action cards. Now, for our action cards, we run 3 Shade Blade. Now, for 0 energies, plus 2 damage. I'm pretty much in this deck, I like to have like, of course it's mono Darkus, so you can only use Darkus cards here, except for the Aurleus Evo card here. So I had to find ways to get his damage boost and get B power boost. Now B power boost was a hard one to go by. Damage Darkus is damage galore. He's like, hey, here's some damage, boom. But, of course, I'm Darkus. I like Shade Blade. Shade Blade's one of my favorite cards for 2 energies, or 0 energies, plus 2 damage. So it's a great card. I had to run it in here anyway. Then we ran Prismatic Shield, of course. You have the sword, you gotta have the shield. The Prismatic Shield for 1 energy, plus 200 B power. Great card to get that B power boost as well. In case if you need this, that little B power boost, boom, Prismatic Shield, just to get that extra boost there. And of course, that's a 1 energy cost. Another 1 energy cost here is Chaotic Darkness. Now what this does is for 1 energy, choose a player to discard a card. So you can discard 1 card, or your opponent can discard 1 card. Now what this is great for is you could play Chaotic Darkness, have Hyper Nillious Aurleus in your hand, play this on turn 1, and you could have a 808 damage Hyper Nillious on the field, turn 1 doing 8 damage. Because you discarded this card for free. So there's a lot of synergy in this deck of playing discarding cards. Which is really, really good there. Then we ran 2 Tainted Touch for 2 energies plus 2 damage. Now if you discard a card, you can do 7 damage instead. So of course, discard, let's say Hyper Nillious, you get to play him for free, and you get to do another bonus of 7 damage. So I mean, you could have Hyper Nillious go out here, go for the battle, do that, discard this, and add 7 to the 8, which is 15. You basically are doing 15 now, and then whatever your core gets. So I mean, you're going to be doing some damage if you can get some of these plays off. Now, of course, one of the key cards that you have to run, since you're discarding cards in the Darkus deck, you have to run a Shadow Coil. Now for 3 energies, 4 damage, just plus 4 damage, which is not terrible, but this is the best part. If this card is discarded, you may play it for free. Play it for free. Tainted Touch. Discard a card plus 7. Okay, discard Shadow Coil. Now you do, 11 damage now? You get to add 11 damage onto your Bakugan now. You're now doing 11 damage for what? 2 energies? 2 energies, 11 damage. Pretty broke. That's just outright broken right there. That's just great. Then of course we run 3 Stone Skin for our next 3 energy cost card. 3 energies, 200 B power, but if you discard a card, plus 800 instead. This can win you games. Discarding this, or discarding a card to get 800 B power bonus, oof. It can get you some high B power in there so you can get those damage in as well. So great card, of course. You can discard Shadow Coil in there. You can discard some other card. It's just, you can discard all Hyper Nillious, and if you have Hyper Nillious, then you basically are at 1600 B power. There's some crazy plays you can do. Now, of course, I run 2 Smoke Armor for 3 energies plus 500 B power. Now, of course, with this, we don't have, like I said, there's not a lot of B power boost. And for 3 energies plus 500, not terrible. It's not terrible by all means. You can use it when you need it, but it's a high cost though, and I don't like 3 energy costs, or a lot of 3 energy cost cards, unless if there's like some other type of synergy like Stone Skin, Shadow Coil, stuff like that to make it go a little bit better. Then of course run 2 Storm Generator for 3 energies, 300 B power, a little low for 3 energies, but if you sacrifice, discard a card, return this card to your hand. So basically just discard a card, return to your hand so you can play it again for next turn, and then discard another card. It helps kind of get you some boosting here for your B power, you know. Like I said, at 300 discard boost, it does that. It works. It's there. It does a decent job. But until Darkus gets some better B power boosting cards, that's what I'm using for right now. Then of course we have our flip cards here. Now the first flip card we have is Cease Darkus. Now Cease Darkus for 0 energies, stop a Darkus Bakugan. Now of course you're only mono Darkus, so you only have access to other cards that says, hey, stop everything but non-Darkus. So anything that's not Darkus, you can stop it. Well, you need something to stop Darkus, because if you're going up against a Bakugan that's Darkus, then you can't stop anything. So Cease Darkus is kind of my out to that, so I can play this card, play it for free as well, and I can stop a Darkus Bakugan. So it works out really well. Of course, in the matches, I haven't battled against another Darkus Bakugan, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I'll try to find a match where I can battle another Darkus Bakugan and see how this works here. Of course, our next flip card we have is going to be Cease Outsiders. Now, for 3 energy, stop a non-Darkus Bakugan. Like I said, most of these are like going to be stop non-Darkus. Of course, Cease Darkus just says stop Darkus. So this is 3 energies. It's a card that you got to use. If you're running Darkus, you're running Cease Outsiders. So you can stop everything in its track but Darkus Bakugan. And then, of course, one of the best stop cards in the whole entire game right now, and that is Pack of Darkus. Now, of course, Pack of Darkus here, for 4 energies, stop a non-Darkus Bakugan. But, sacrifice. You may discard a card and play this card for free. Discard Hyper Nillious. Nillious evolves. I just played that for free. I just played that for free to stop 1 attack. Even if I don't even have that, discard a card, play it for free. I mean, that's just fantastic card to use. Just to discard a card, and you get to play this card for free and stop any damage that is not a Darkus Bakugan. Pretty broke there. I mean, that's just a broken card to use as Pack of Darkus, and I got 3 copies, so you know, I'm pretty happy, and this is the only deck that I'll be using that will probably have Pack of Darkus as of right now anyway, until I get more, so you know, hey. Then we have our hero cards. Then we have 2C. Now, for 2 energies, plus Shadow Strike to your Darkus Bakugan, and if you do 10 or more damage in your attack, you may draw 3 cards. Now, of course, we have our, where is it at? Our minus 300 B power core here. Now, this is basically says, hey, come on out here, Nillious. You're a Darkus Bakugan. You land on that core that gives you minus 300 B power. Well, add Shadow Strike to that, so you don't get minus anything. Basically, it's just an empty core that does absolutely nothing. You basically don't have to even worry about the core. And you only worry about his base stats, and hopefully you have enough high base stats to where you can win it. But of course, deal 10 or more damage, you may draw 3 cards. So if I'm correct, I may be wrong. Let me know down in the comments below if I am wrong. But you have to deal 10 damage, then you get to draw 3 cards. So if they stop it at 7, you do not get to draw 3 cards because you didn't deal 10 damage. And of course, like I said, I may be wrong. Let me know down in the comments below what kind of the ruling is, because if you do have 10 damage and you're dealing 10 damage, but they only take 7, do you still draw the 3 cards, or do you have to deal the 10 damage to draw the 3 cards? You have to take all 10. So yeah, like I said, let me know that in the comments below. That was a little question I had in the battle video. Hopefully we get it answered here or in there. And you know, hey, maybe it'll be pretty good either way. I mean, it's a great card nonetheless. Then of course we run 3 China Riots. Now China Riot is a great card. 4 energies plus 1 damage to your attack. So you may be like, well, 4 energies for 1 attack? That's not good. No, it's not. It's not good. But if you discard this card, you may play it for free. Pack of Darkus, discard China Riot. You play China Riot for free. You have plus 1 damage for next turn. Broke. Again. Broken. It is just broken. It's broken nonetheless. You basically are discarding anything you need. You have like literally 7 cards. If you discard, you're fine. Or not 7, but 8 cards that you discard, you'll be fine. You're basically getting pluses off it. So it's absolutely amazing. Then we run 1 Benton Dusk here. For 4 energies, when you discard a card, a Bakugan gets plus 200 B power and 2 damage. Now, of course, you're discarding cards pretty often, so getting an extra 200 boost and a 2 damage boost, ooh, that's good. Now, of course, I am going to be running 2 of him. I don't have a second one yet. I am getting it in the mail here soon. And I'll be getting the second Benton Dust to put in this deck. But in the placement as of right now, I am playing Current. For 2 energies, when you play a flip card, you may draw a card. So you pretty much be playing Cease Darkus, Pack of Darkus quite often. So you basically get to draw a card after that as well. So you can basically just draw a card, replenish your hand after you play that flip card. So it works out really well going into that, kind of help getting your draw cards, or getting to draw cards in here, because drawing is a little bit difficult in this deck. Pretty much the only way to draw cards is, of course, through C, manually drawing, and current. And of course, using your stop cards and everything else kind of just helps keeping you get some cards in your hand. But you gotta know when to use your cards in this deck. This deck is kind of like, okay, you can go all out, but just be warned, if you go all out, you won't have anything for next turn. So you have to kind of know when to play each and every card in this deck here. But yeah, so that is the deck profile. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you click that like button down below. And if you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button and become a cousin in our family. And remember, Ohana means family, and family means don't get left behind or forgotten. And I will see y'all next time. Bye!